Greetings, comrades, and hello, everyone. I'm Quint866. Original video of me doing this. Some parts got cut out because of bad internet connection. So I'm going to do this again and hope for the best that my internet connection remains stable. And have a few more games this time, so I'm just going to be reviewing those as well. Without time to waste, let's haste and see what all my PlayStation games I own and how I like them. Now I just gotta go get them. Okay, got them. I will be doing this in order, by the way, of how I got the games, considering that I like to collect PlayStation games, and mainly because I really like the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 in general, so I'll start in order of how I got them. I'll separate them by category, though. I'll start with the PS2 games, then go to the PS1 games. My first game I ever owned, a bit of a weird choice for a 14-year-old, was God of War. Now, yeah, it may have not been the best game to play for a 14-year-old kid who really wanted to try and get into PlayStation games, but I gotta admit, I do like the combat system, and even though I couldn't beat the first level until I was like 16, I know I was that pathetic because reasons. I gotta admit, though, I'm actually rather glad I did beat the first level when I was 16, even though it took me 2 years to do so in retrospect. I do gotta admit, though, the cutscene after you beat the first level is a bit inappropriate for my 14-year-old eyes. By the time I was 16, I could get through it. Anyways, let's move on to the next game. This game also gets a certain kind of rating. You see, I remember a long time ago, similar to Catacrys, he would always say whether the game would be worth buying with his slaughter or salvage function of his channel. However, I've realized that I need to do something similar, because I feel like when I review games, I haven't said exactly if you should buy it or not. So I've decided a simple way to determine this with this pen. I'll shine the red light. Wait, let me just get at the camera. The red light means the game gets killed. The blue light means the game is saved or kept or whatever. So yeah, God of War, even though I do personally think the new God of War is better in comparison, this one still gets the keep. Next game. This one was a weird second choice because even though I got it before I got through the first level of God of War, I played this one more than God of War, oddly enough. This one was mainly due to my fanfiction character, the Dealer, who I'll not go into specific reasons because he's past me, gone away. But World Series of Poker was an alright game. I like the customization, and in fact, I was even able to make Dealer in this game as my avatar. A really cool function, and I really like the customization this game has. What I don't like? The online mode. But then again, I can't say that for the entirety of it, because I've never actually been online on this game. But if I had the chance to be online, I would assure you it would be horrible. And considering the PS2 doesn't have an online server anymore, or any online servers for that matter, this game does lose a couple points. But I still think the customization is really good, and the amount of things you can do on your own is still fair enough. So this one gets the keep. Next game. This game I actually got for free, believe it or not. I was able to earn it via points in a shop, and I got this one for free because it was in the discount bin, and there was nothing really else that looked good, alongside the next game I got, which is better than this one, Jimmy Neutron Jet Fusion. In fact, I'm going to be brutally honest with you guys here. I haven't even played this one. And there's a reason for that. I've seen people review this. It's a mediocre game, and I can see why. Not just because it's Jimmy Neutron, but because it is not a very faithful game to the franchise, unfortunately. It's the harsh reality, but, I mean, it's not a bad game. It's just certainly not a good game. But it still, nonetheless, gets the save because I got it for free and I didn't waste any money. So that's just my opinion on this matter. God, come on. Why is it so hard to get in between these things? Okay. Next game. This one's certainly a lot better than Jimmy Neutron Jet Fusion. Theme Park Roller Coaster, made by EA Games. Before they went, yeah, the way they are now. I got nothing to say, EA. I got nothing to say. But anyways, Theme Park Roller Coaster is a pretty good game for EA Games standards. Alongside Tasmanian Tiger, I think it's a hidden gem. A couple complaints I do have is the fact this game never got a back to it. At least the one I have. And it seems weird, because it has a front, so what happened to the back? And in fact, the spine doesn't even have a title on it. It might just be because it's used, but I guess I can't really complain since I've only played the first 30 minutes of the game. And all retrospect, guys, this one gets the keep. Next game. This one was my first real game. My first game that I really, truly enjoyed. That wasn't like some cheap run-of-the-mill kind of game. And yeah. It just entertains me, you know? And I gotta be honest, this game was very famous for good reasons. Rayman 2 Revolution. Now, this game is certainly a lot better than the PS1 game, in my opinion, that is. However, there is one thing, though, I do have to complain about this game. And that is simply this, guys. I feel like they could have added what was on this disc to the PS1. I mean, yeah, the Golem 13 fight, I could probably understand that. But Boss Bid Tank and even Boss Shenao, the snake thing, they could have been added, but no, they just didn't add it in, and that does lose points, but I love the soundtrack in this game. The soundtrack in this game is amazing. What makes it all worth it is just the pure amount of fun I've had with it. I've had so much fun. I've even played through it like 3 times now, trying different things along the way. Like, one time I tried to, play without collecting as many lums as possible. One time I tried to play without collecting any lums except for the needed ones. And one time I tried collecting all the lums, which that was one of the worst things I ever did. And the cages, oh boy, that was just, it was long, it wasn't hard, it was just tedious. Next game. For Watch Mojo fans out there, if you have any fans of Watch Mojo, let me just say, Enter the Matrix is a good game. Why is everyone such against this game, including Watch Mojo? This game is good. I mean, not only do I prefer it over Path of Neo, mainly because you get to play as 2 characters rather than 1, even though you don't get to play as Neo in this one. In the Matrix Path of Neo, it wasn't necessarily that good because shooting things was so hard. Like, for instance, in Path of Neo, you had to hold 1 button to pull out the gun, 1 trigger to aim the gun, 1 trigger to hold or like select a target, then 1 more to shoot. And you have to do this all 4 triggers just to shoot, or 3, I think it was 2. In Matrix, or Enter the Matrix, it's just as simple as aiming and shooting. How did you mess that up, Path of Neo? And I still prefer Enter the Matrix over Path of Neo, making this game really, really good. Only complaint I do have is the glitch, where if you don't defeat the final boss on your first run, you can't unlock the best 2 stages of the game, Vertigo and the Chinatown levels. But, I guess it can only have so much space on a disc like this. This game, alongside Rayman 2 Revolution, gets the save. Because I forgot to do that for Rayman 2 Revolution. Game number 3 is, if you were listening to me earlier, Matrix Path of Neo. Now, I get this game is better for a story terms, but, my god, guys, I can't bring myself to say that this game is better than Enter the Matrix, because Enter the Matrix does so many things better than this one. I mean, yeah, playing as Neo is nice, and being able to fight Agent Smiths rather than running away from them most of the time is pretty neat. But what I don't like, the controls. The controls are so wonky, guys. I'm not even joking. I mean, punching and whatnot is alright. Shooting guns is problematic. But running around is really hard. Mobility is something I'm not good at in this game, considering you have to wall jump, run up walls, flip. It is insane. Okay, but nonetheless, I'm still going to give this game the save. Because I still enjoyed my time with it, and I did want to play when I first saw this. So, I'm going to keep it as a saved game. Next game. This one was Capcom Classics Collection. I had a lot of fun with this one. Except when I realized there was no Mega Man games on this. And yeah, I get it, Mega Man did have a couple problems with Capcom and him being in collections. But for the PS2, he should have been on this collection. They included Ghosts and Goblins, Street Fighter 2, heck, even Gunsmoke and Final Fight. I'm reading this off the back, by the way. I know it's a little bit dark, but you guys are just going to have to deal with that. But it is unforgivable that they could not include Mega Man in a game with Capcom's logo on it. I mean, yeah, not every Capcom collection has to have Mega Man in it, but I haven't seen a Mega Man collection other than the Legacy collection. I haven't seen a Capcom collection to include Mega Man games. Unfortunately, this game, I hate to be honest, I can't say I had too much fun with it. Because Ghosts and Goblins is alright, but tricky. Street Fighter 2 is repetitive, in my opinion. You guys should all know how I feel about this game. Kingdom Hearts. What more do I need to say, guys? This game is as good as everyone says it is. It's a fair game, has very cool bosses, an amazing soundtrack, and most importantly, it's fun. Not much else to add, minus the fact that even though I talked about the Phantom on my top 5 scariest things in childhood video games list, I'm going to be honest, the Phantom is not the scariest or hardest boss I've ever faced. I was just trying to be scary there and intimidating, so yeah, I take back what I said in that video. Saved. Oh, saved. That was the wrong button. God, why? Come on. The next game is Kingdom Hearts 2. I don't have anything more to add to this one, so just save. Bully. Now, Bully was one of my first Rockstar games I ever played. I mean, it was not the first, but my first was GTA, not Vice City. Chinatown Wars for the DS. This one, however, was pretty good, if a little bit confusing on occasion, especially if you want to go 100%. If you want 100% this game on your first try, let me just wish you good freaking luck. There are so many things you can miss. Even if you're playing and you know this game pretty well, there's so many things you can miss, like certain missions, certain collectibles. Meaning if you beat the mission, and since there's no mission replay, you can't get 100%. So this game is one of the trickiest ones 100%, and not even in the good kind of way. But I did like a lot of the things. Like, I did like some of the bosses. I liked some of the games. It was an interesting concept. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I haven't beaten this game, and I don't think I probably will. It disappointed me because, I don't know, guys. I felt like the formula was getting repetitive. Unfortunately, Bully, bam. You get the red light, I'm sorry to say. Just aim right at the camera. There we go. Sorry, it took forever to do. Next game, Twisted Metal Black. This game was actually pretty good in my opinion. It just wasn't as good as Twisted Metal 2 in my eyes, but still a good game. It doesn't change much from the Twisted Metal formula, despite it being, despite it having different items, some new characters, and most importantly, the darkest plotline. The main complaint? Calypso. You see, Calypso in the other games was a long-haired guy, and minus in 3, he was pretty cool. In this game, he turned savage, which I don't think quite fits his character. Like, in the other games, Calypso was the cool villain. He was like the trickstery, kind of jestery, kind of, I'm going to manipulate everyone. But in this game, he's just turned into a freak. That's like, I am darkness. I will kill all. Instead of, I will manipulate my beings and my racers and take the victory for myself. You see, there's a difference. There's a difference between killing and manipulating, and that doesn't fit Calypso's villain, in my opinion. But at least they improved his appearance by making him have a red bloodshot eye and no more long hair. So he's pretty much bald now. This game gets saved. The next game, we should all know, because I've already reviewed this first game on my channel. I don't have anything else to add, guys. Save. And again, the third game in the series I just mentioned, bam. This one is a definite save. This one is one of the best games you can get with the PS2 and the GunCon. No doubt about it. This game I actually really enjoyed despite it being very difficult. Dino Stalker. Yeah, it's a cheesy name, but it's not a bad game. In fact, I found it quite challenging. Maybe not a fair challenging, but it was still good because it utilized the GunCon in a new way rather than just being like Time Crisis where you just point and shoot and reload and duck and whatnot. This game you can actually choose where to move with the D-pad on the GunCon, which I really liked. Even if the difficulty was quite unforgiving at times with the time. Yep, that was a problem, but yeah. I'm kind of neutral on this one, guys. I don't know if I should save it or if I should, well, kill it. But you know, I think I'm going to save it because this game I still enjoyed, mainly considering the fact that it was a good effort at trying to utilize the GunCon in a new, innovative way. Spy Hunter. I got nothing to add on this one, guys. I mean, this game was really good. Maybe not as good as the original or the second one or some of the other classic Spy Hunter games, but this was a good idea to go around the formula Spy Hunter had. And even though it wasn't a really good game, I enjoyed it, but there's one complaint. 2-player mode is ridiculous to unlock. Me and my dad tried for hours to get 5 stars or all the stars on the first mission, and when we did do it, it wouldn't register. Like, it's almost like we had to get it on our first time, and you have to get 5 stars in order to get 2-player mode, and that's what kind of killed it for me. I'm sorry, Spy Hunter, but Next game is actually not necessarily a true game because it's one that allows you to make your own games on the PS2. RPG Maker 3, because RPG Maker 2 and 1 weren't good enough. Okay, I know that was a joke from my friend Mr. Mario Kart 102. But seriously now, guys, this game, well, Maker, is pretty legit. It's good, but I do think I would have liked more customization in it. Like, there's tons of customization as is for sure, but having not every single thing be valid, like you can't battle like certain things that get character models, it kind of ruins the purpose in my opinion. But you know what? It doesn't make it a bad game in the slightest. Save. This game everyone likes. Everyone knows it if they like Final Fantasy. Unfortunately, I hate to be honest, Final Fantasy X is a good game. I may not say it's the best, but I will say, though, that everyone tends to not really like it that much. Like, they just say it's kind of okay or not really engaging, but it's not a bad game. Guys, this game is really good. Like, I enjoyed the characters, especially Auron. Auron was so cool that even got included in Kingdom Hearts 2. That's some definitive proof for those of you who don't think 10 is a very good game, or a very good game in comparison to other games like Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, I know, guys, Final Fantasy VII is a good game, but it's not the best out there. I honestly prefer Final Fantasy X over 7 because of one reason. Unlike 7, 10 didn't get exploited so much. Like, Final Fantasy VII got all these spin-off games like Dirge of Cerberus and Crisis Core and what was that other one called? There was this. Oh yeah, Dirge of Cerberus, Crisis Core, and they got like a ton of other stuff like Little Big Planet 2 skins. They even got one other game that was like a racing game. I don't remember, but it wasn't good in my opinion. But Final Fantasy X is still a good game. It's just too bad no one else that I know personally seems to think so. But you know what? Boom. That's for all the people who say that 7 is better than 10. The next game is a simulator game. I don't typically play a lot of simulator games, in all honesty. Minus a couple simulator games like Ace Attorney and Tabletop Simulator. But this game, in all honesty, guys, I had fun with the Alaskan setting. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to say about this one. This one was a good hunting simulator. It was very accurate for the time, but there's better games now. And even though I do love the Alaskan setting and the snow themes, what I didn't like was how there is so much you have to keep track of. But to be fair, that is the same in regular hunting. But even then, still not the best in my opinion. Another thing I didn't like about this game was some of the controls. Like, for instance, in order to even shoot your gun, and this may be easier for some of you who do prefer this, you have to press R1, not R2. Now, I get it that, that's easier for some people if they're, not used to hitting the triggers, but I prefer to use the triggers to shoot than the bumpers. So, does knock it down a couple notches, and it does get that, unfortunately. I would say this game would be good, but I just found it for a reasonable price, and I had some fun with it, but it lost its novelty really quickly. This game is a hidden gem, one of the best games of its type, even more than Theme Park Roller Coaster on the entire PlayStation library. Thrillville. This game is such an underrated game. Even though it did get one sequel off the rails, I want to see more of this game. This game is great. It has so many things I love. It's like Mario Party and Theme Park Roller Coaster matched together. It makes so much sense. It's too bad no one ever seems to remember it. Even though it got the Greatest Hits logo on it. That's something you got to consider. Okay, well, minus on another game I'll get to later. So this game gets the save. The next game is Disney's The Haunted Mansion. One of the few Disney games that actually gave me a more adult feeling towards it. Unfortunately, it was still a pretty Luigi's Mansion ripoff game. That was the whole point of this game, was to rival Luigi's Mansion. And I understand, those were kind of cool games at the time, but it just didn't seem to work for me. I didn't like how the character models were a bit too cartoony. Some of the monsters were creepy for sure. But again, it's just like Luigi's Mansion. It copies the same formula. Sucking up ghosts. It wasn't very original. But you know what? I'm still going to hit the save because I did play a lot of this as a kid. Strike Force Bowling. One I haven't even opened the case for. until just now. I've seen footage of this gameplay, and unfortunately, bop. Even though it is bowling, it's not necessarily the best game ever. Especially for bowling simulators. I'd rather play Wii Bowling than this. Even though it does have other themes, it just felt tedious. This game, a pro bass fishing game. Haven't even opened the case to it yet. Just like Strike Force Bowling. And I'm not even going to make the until just now joke because I've already done that. I got nothing to say, guys. This game is pretty much Sega bass fishing in the arcades. And that's all. It's not very good of a game. And I'm going to be honest, guys. I could have liked this game if it wasn't so tedious on occasions. Like, it would have been a fine game if only it had just done one thing. Not copy Sega bass fishing. The next game is Spider-Man 3. Unfortunately, I prefer the Xbox 360 version, and just like Mark Davis Pro Bass Fishing, it gets the red light. The next game is another great hits title, Pac-Man World 2, an underrated game and pretty good in my opinion. The only complaint I do have is Blinky, the boss fight. It just, man, let me tell you guys, this game, Blinky's boss fight was obnoxious. And I'm in total agreement with Faflo's minion when I just can't seem to get better at it. I can beat it for sure, just not as much as I'd want to compared to how I lose. But you know what? So gets the save nonetheless. The next game is Resident Evil 4. I would talk more about this game if I played more of it, which unfortunately I haven't. It's the sad truth, guys. I would have preferred it if this game didn't have so many overpowered weapons. That's all I gotta say, guys. Like, Resident Evil 4 is one of the better Resident Evil games, for sure. But it isn't necessarily a fair one for the player. Like, in terms of difficulty, it's a bit too easy. Which is not the point of a survival horror game. You're supposed to feel like you have to struggle to survive. That's the point. Unfortunately, not this case. 007 Agent Under Fire is one of the few James Bond games I've played. And it's alright. And I'm going to admit, guys, it's not the perfect game. The controls were really wonky, but it's tolerable at least. So alongside Resident Evil 4, even though I do have my differences with it, they both get the save. I have a friend who complains about this game a lot being glitchy when I haven't personally had a glitch like this. It might just be his copy, but I don't know, guys. SpongeBob Light Pants isn't a bad game, but it isn't necessarily a good game either. Like, some of the minigames were a bit too tricky on the AI's difficulty. I'm a bit on the middle on this one, guys, but in all honesty, this game wasn't too good. I mean, yeah, I'm with Faflo's Minion when he says it's a good party game, but as a SpongeBob game, there's better games out there. So, unfortunately, SpongeBob, And speaking of better SpongeBob games, here's one I personally found better. Battle for Bikini Bottom. One of the best SpongeBob games ever. One of the greatest 3D platformers ever. It's just such a good game. Too bad I haven't beaten it. I've gone to Pet Robot Patrick, but I haven't beaten it, so I can't say it's a very good game unless I've beaten it, but I guess there's only so much I can do there. But I'm still going to say it's a good game, so boop. I've already reviewed this game, so I'll just flash the light and get it over with. Boop, and Jones the Emperor soon gets the save, obviously. Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, if you can see that. I don't think even I can see that. Well, I haven't played this one yet because I've still been trying to beat my other games. So I'm going to wait on this one for another video. Remember when I said the greatest hits titles can either be hit or miss on the PlayStation 2? Well, here's one of the cases where it's a miss. I know people love this game, guys, but unfortunately, The Simpsons Road Rage is a repetitive game. It's a good game in concept. The taxi-like function is pretty good, but what wasn't good was the amount of how much stuff you had to do. It's ludicrous, guys. I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's really difficult for me to say this, but that's the truth. God, why again? Hitman 2. I love Hitman. This is a great game. Minus the fact that I've only played the PS4 version and this one. So in comparison to other games, I don't know if it's a good game in like the other games in the franchise, but this one gets the save. Okay, anyways. Crash Twinsanity. Save, obviously. God, why? Okay, next game. Endgame. This game is really underrated, and similar to Time Crisis, it's another rail shooter. Unlike Time Crisis, it has a way deeper plot for a single game. Time Crisis is a bigger plot for a series, but this game is very good in terms of just one game having a great plot. And you know what? I like it, so it gets the save. There we go. I'm getting mixed up with the buttons again. Dang it, I dropped it. I mentioned this one earlier, Dirge of Cerberus. I got nothing to say, guys. This game is okay, but in terms of Final Fantasy VII, I haven't brought myself to actually fully try and beat it yet. I only played like the introduction and that's it. So I'm going to wait on this one as well. Lost and Growing Project Zoo, underrated 3D platformer, gets a save. Kingdom Hearts Reach End of Memories, my first Kingdom Hearts game I ever played. It's like, why does everyone hate this game? It's not that bad. Yes, I can't say that because I grew up with the card-based combat and I'm used to it. But come on, guys. Just because you get your cards broken doesn't mean it's an unfair game. What is unfair? Marluxia. Marluxia is an unfair boss fight. At least his third phase. His first phase was a good challenge. His second phase was a bit of a pushover. But the third phase is the worst, in my opinion. Considering it's the final boss, too. This game does not work for me. I've tried it so many times. The loading screen glitch is for real. Sorry, Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. This game, I can't get to work, no matter how hard I try. I play this game a lot. And in fact, Creature of the Crust Crab gets the save. It's such a great game. Such an original one, too. Ultimate Spider-Man, nothing to say. Bam, it gets a save. Great game. And finally, Fantastic Four. I haven't played this one either, so I am going to save it for another video. And that is all of the PlayStation 2 games. We still have my entire PlayStation 1 library to go through. And oh boy, I don't know if it's longer, guys. I really don't know, considering they're very even in quantity. But I'll do that in a separate stream. So I'm Quint866. Have a good one.